Thank you, everybody. Welcome this year to our Unleash 2018 Prospecting Motivational Inspirational class to help you guys stay motivated, doing the activities that you're supposed to be doing to make sure that we get you a paycheck come January. So I have taken over the class that Jay Brown has done in the past. This is my second year. I'm not quite as scared as I was last year. I was sweating profusely, considered wrecking my car on the way in, and didn't almost pass out, but it seemed like an option. So this is my second year doing it. I try to bring in new material. We're going to bring in some old material from last year just because of the fact that I think they're important pieces to having a successful business. So I appreciate all of you guys taking the time out of your schedule to be here today. It is a 6-week course. We'll be on every Thursday from 9 to 11. The first half will be myself teaching, inspirational videos, some tech tools that Tabitha's going to teach us, an admin tip, and then some more tools to help you guys with your prospecting, data building, or database building, and some stuff to help you with your business. So thank you for coming. I know that Brooke had said it is a 6-week commitment. I'm going to kind of change that a little bit. If you can't make it 1 week, you are more than welcome to come back. This is for you. I want you guys to take something out of it, and even if you miss a week and you guys come back, I think you'll learn something wonderful from our speakers that we have coming in and the tools that we're going to be providing for you this 6 weeks. So I know that's probably against what Brooke and Vince wanted, but I'm going to tell you, you guys can still come back. Even if you miss 1 or 2 classes, we'd love to have you here. We have some wonderful speakers. Today we have Shelli Klemke. Next week, I believe I've got Rachel Skratsky and Julie Lawrenson. The following week, I'm going to have David Matney and Jen Bennett. The 4th week, I think, is Diane Hughes, and that's going to be setting yourself apart. The 5th week, I think we're kind of indecisive. I have one that might be jumping ship on me. And then the following week, the last week, is Vince Leisey, and he always finishes it up with a really great speech as well. So that's kind of our layout for the next 6 weeks to kind of give you an idea what to expect. But again, thank you guys for coming today. We always start these off with some type of inspirational video, so I don't think I have anything in the works that's going to make anybody cry today. I had one last year that I think I was trying to keep the tears held back. So again, thank you, 2018 Unleashed. So do something today that your future self will thank you for, and that's kind of what this class is about, just making sure that you're doing things, bringing in new tools, and always improving yourself for future business. So our speakers today are going to be Shelli Klemke, and I thought Vince Leisey might say something, but he bowed out on me, so he's just in the back waving. So I think my whole, there you go, I think my whole message this time is, work hard and dream big, because I don't believe that we all push ourselves to the fullest capability that we are able to do, that if you dream big, that you actually are able to achieve it. And I just want to make sure that I put that in your guys' mindset, that if you guys dream big, that you guys can actually be whatever or whoever or make whatever you guys want to do. So this first video is about dreaming big, and we're going to get that started for you.
Within yourself that there's something you want to do, and I believe that all of us were born with a purpose, that all of us have something that we are supposed to do, that all of us have some goodness within us, and that goodness gives us a responsibility to manifest our greatness. Not only is it possible for you to have your dream, but it's necessary. It's necessary that you have it, that you work on it, that you develop yourself, that you go for what is yours in the universe.
Every single day when you wake up, you better be spending time on your dreams. You better be spending time on you ain't got time to waste. It is a sense of urgency.
It's a character of who you are. It's not the title that makes you. It's not the success that makes you. The character defines the success, defines the fame, and it starts right there. They're won in the thousands of hours in the training room, the labs, and the 5 a.m. runs, and it's raining when everyone else is sleeping. That's when it's won. The heart of a champion is a light switch that's always on. It doesn't go on and off when someone's watching. It's constant. It's how you look at something. If your name's attached to it, and you do it right, the best of your ability every single time.
And the problem with some of y'all is you want somebody else to support your dream. It's yours. I don't owe you a dime. It's your dream. If you want it to happen, get your butt up and make it happen. If you want it to happen, rise and grind.
That if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, And life seems useless and worthless without it. And if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after this thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gulf, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want.
And the title of 2013, three-time Mr. Olympia,
Now that's that thing called life, is that it is always changing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. I can tell you that now. Be aware of that. Things are not going to work out exactly right. For a time they will, sometimes, and that's when life is just playing a game with you. I don't want to play anymore. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much you work on yourself. There are some times when things aren't going to go right. They just are not going to go right. There are times when anything that can happen will happen. But during those down moments, that's where the growth takes place. That's where the work is. See, anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships. Anybody could be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. See, but the real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down.
And some of you in your life, the reason why you're not blowing up, the reason why you're not successful, you have not learned to pass. You think just because it's an opportunity, it's for you. And not every opportunity is for you.
All of us have experienced some tragedy, and if we haven't, we will. And you can either let it destroy your life, or you can build upon it. You can permit it to let it hold you down, or you can decide, I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm bigger than this. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out.
We all fall down in life. The question is, who gets back up?
Forgive and grow.
You're about to separate yourself from the and you're about to be on top.
If you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me.
It's not your circumstances or your situation that determines if you're going to be successful or not. I've been telling you, it's your mindset. It's the way you see it. It's the way you think it.
Your mind is a battleground. Touch somebody and tell them the enemy's after your mind. Out to worry you to death. Out to stress you to death. Out to break you down. Out to make you quit. Out to make you think that you can't get up. Out to make you give up on your dream. The warfare is in your mind. It's not in your checkbook. It's not in your savings account. It's not on your job. The fight that you got to fight is in your mind. And if you whip it in your head, you can whip it in your checkbook. You can whip it on your job. You can whip it out of your children. But you got to drive it out of your head.
I'm coming back. And I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. Standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You're standing up for your dream. You want it. And you're going to go all out to have it. Let it go and begin to focus on developing myself. And I say to you, you're going to have people to do things to you. Things are going to happen to you. And the most important thing to do is to harness your will and let it go. And move so you can grow. So you can get on with your life. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it?
When you want something bad, you can't count the cost, because if you count the cost and you see how much it costs, you might quit, you might give up. So you got to go in knowing that I don't count the cost. I do as many push-ups as it takes, as many sit-ups as it takes, as many reps as it takes. I study as long as it takes. I pay whatever the price is. Why? Because if I start counting the cost, I might quit, I might give up, I might surrender. Don't count the cost. You don't count the cost on this one. You don't count how many breaths you take. You don't count it. You get to a point where you don't count it. You just do whatever it takes to get whatever you want.
Don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation.
Once you make a decision and you go all in and you say, I ain't quitting till I get there, I ain't giving up, I ain't giving in, I'll do whatever it takes to be successful. And when you make that decision, when you look you in the mirror, when you tell yourself that, look, I'm through, I'll do whatever it takes, I guarantee you, that's the day begins to happen. Forget about your past. Forget what happened back in the day. Make the rest of your life the best of your life.
So I like that video for the fact that, you know, it makes you believe that you can do anything that you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. I've been reading a book, and actually I had to be honest, I don't like to read books very much. I start about 3/4 of it, and then I stop because I don't know why I don't finish them. So I have now changed to audibles. So I've been listening to a book, and I love that. It's kind of a little bit more up my alley because I drive a half hour, 35 minutes into work every day, and on the way back home. I also wake up early and go to the gym at like 4:15, so if I don't listen to a podcast, I'm listening to a book. And so that way I can actually achieve what everyone that I talk to or all the seminars that I go to are always talking about these great books that are, you know, helpful for them to learn and make it to the next step of their life. So in this book that I'm reading or listening to is The Miracle Morning, and it's been really inspirational for me. It kind of tells you how to get yourself up and motivated and get your mindset right, but one of the things they talk about in this book is visualization of the impossible makes it possible. So if you actually believe and visualize you making yourself to that achievement, that you guys can get there. One of the things they talk about is Tiger Woods. Before he makes any shot, he actually visualizes a shot he's going to make, and he's one of the best golfers in the world. So if you keep on doing that and believing that you guys can achieve it and visualize it, you will get to your goal. You just have to make sure that your goals are transparent, that you make sure that they're solid, that you write them down, and that you wake up every morning having that same intention reaching those goals. So the best way to predict the future is to create it. I've been to a couple different seminars this year, and they said that the best thing to do is get your mindset right. So in order to have a healthy mindset, you need to get up early. I know that mornings are the key to success, and I hate mornings with a passion, or I had hated mornings with a passion. So I had a kid 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and I was an evening workout person, but I made a choice in order to have my family that I wanted and to spend time with my daughter. I now wake up at 4:15 in the morning to go to the gym. I don't hate 4:15 in the morning to go to the gym. You know, I'm changing my mindset, saying I only need 5 hours to sleep, and tomorrow when I wake up, it's going to be a great day. And at 4:15 when that alarm goes off, I get up, I go to the gym, and then when I get off work, I get to spend the time with my daughter, because this is why I work so hard, is to spend the time with my family. That's the most important thing to me, and so you just need to make sure that you guys have your mindset right, that you guys know why you guys are doing what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve. And they say if you exercise, it will keep you from having to worry about being ill in the future. So even if you do 5 or 10 minutes of exercise a day, or 5 or 10 minutes of some type of meditation, affirmations, we're going to do those today as well. They say that you have to say your affirmations out loud, and that you can't do them on occasion, just like you can't just go to the gym on occasion and expect results. You need to do affirmations every single day. You need to say them out loud, and you need to have some for your success, for your family, for your life. You need to have affirmations for all of them, and they should be changing. That you shouldn't be saying the same affirmations over and over again, because you'll achieve that affirmation and then you'll stay stagnant. So you need to go to another affirmation to try to help you achieve that next level of success. So I like this way that I can create and predict my own future. The 3 secrets to success is to get up early, you have to work hard, and then you have to find oil. So when I say find oil, I mean go find where your next paycheck's coming from, where you're going to make your next dollar at. We're going to help you find that. We're going to try to tap into some sources that maybe you have not hit yet for prospects, putting into your database, sphere of influence, and then some ways to touch them to hopefully make some more money off of them as well. Fundamentals of success. Take 100% responsibility for your life. You can't blame somebody else for the fact that you're not willing to get up and prospect in the morning. Decide what you want. What is your vision and your goals? So if you don't have specific visions or specific goals, you're never going to achieve what you think you want, because you don't know exactly what it is that you're looking for. Unleash the power of goal setting. Believe it's possible and believe in yourself. Use affirmations, vision boards, and visualizations. Take action. Solicit, welcome, and respond respond to feedback, practice persistence with patience, and have gratitude, an attitude of gratitude. So I came to this company 2 years ago. I came from a company that I was at for almost 18 years, and I was scared shitless to come here. I had opportunities to go other places, but I knew that if I came here, I would push myself even harder. It would put me in an uncomfortable position such as this to help myself grow. So I have met the most inspiring agents being at this company. I have seen some of the most inspirational things and actions take place here. Everyone here is willing to share their information, their ideas. They want to help you become successful as well. So we have agents that come through and they'll share their listing presentations, their buyer packets, some of their marketing ideas, anything that you guys want. All you have to do is ask, because that is a philosophy that Vince has instilled in these agents in this company. So if you're new to us or you don't come in and know that that's what our culture is, please start coming in, because these agents are here and they're willing to help all of you. I probably have more fire in my belly now seeing what is achievable from some of these agents. I've learned from Fred Tishar, if you guys haven't met him. He does our investors mastermind group here and helps a lot of investors in the area. I now had no desire to be a landlord, buy rental property, flip houses, and now I can't wait to get my hands on more. Me and my husband are doing our first one now, and now I'm looking at my future, so hopefully I can do some wealth building and plan for my future. Us realtors kind of suck at saving money, so the ideas that I'm getting here to plan for my future have been outstanding, and you guys can get those same, inspirations from these agents here. It's just, what do you want? You have to plan and set your goals. You must believe it to achieve it. So you need to dream big. What is your dream? And that's going to be one of our activities for today. It's homework. I'm not going to make you guys partner up or do group things. I kind of decided to kind of push that out of this seminar. I know they've done that in the past, and I don't like doing that. So I'm not going to make you guys do it. Plus, it's hard to get control over you guys after I give you a few minutes of time. So I'm going to make you guys write down what your dream big is, and whether I make you turn it into me or not, it's more for you. Put it on a billboard. Visualize what your dreams are. Know what you have to do to get there, and then have your dreams in every aspect of your life. Your financial, your relationships, your family, whatever it is. Just make sure you know exactly what you're trying to achieve. Successful people are successful because they form the habits of doing those things that failures don't like to do. So one of the things I notice being an agent now or a managing broker in this office is when I come into this office, whether it be Christmas time, Thanksgiving time, 8 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night, our parking lot is typically always full. And you don't see a lot of agents just walking around or socializing. They're in their offices doing the activities that it takes to become successful. They're making phone calls. They're doing handwritten notes. They're trying to schedule appointments. They're calling expireds for sale by owners. They're doing everything that it takes to be successful. The most successful agents that I have seen in this building are doing the activities that everyone hates to do. They're walking neighborhoods, they're knocking on doors, they're calling the expireds, like I said. They have coaches holding them accountable for the activities that they're supposed to be doing. So they're paying thousands of dollars a month to have someone tell them that they didn't make enough phone calls this month or that they hit their goals. So it's something I had not seen coming from where I came from, and to me, I think it's pretty amazing to see what you can actually achieve if you put your mind to it. So the foundation of actually having a great business is your sphere of influence or your database. I have been in the business for quite a while, and I've been in management for almost 12 years, and I can honestly tell you I don't have a great database, but I am working on it, because if I'm preaching to all of you that you should have one, I should have one too. So if you don't have a database, there's no perfect time to put one together, but now is a good time because it is slowing down. I have asked some of the top producers in the office what they use for a database, if it's a CRM, if they have a certain one that they love, and I don't think it really matters. Some of our top producers just have an Excel database sheet that they use. Some agents use all kinds of CRM. So use what you're going to use, and if you're not going to use it, you're not going to get in there and keep it up, then don't use that one. Keep it simple so you know that you have a database built. In your handouts or in your book, I have a whole list of things that you can do in order to build your sphere of influence or database. It's going to give you some ideas of people that you can hit up, your friends, your spouses, coworkers. I worked out at a gym every single day for 7 days a week at 5:30 at night, and I didn't even tell one person what I did in that gym. I was a managing broker. I wasn't soliciting for, helping people buy and sell houses, and all of a sudden I had everyone in that gym that knew me asking me to help them, or a friend or a brother or a sister. And so, if I would have tapped into that, I could have imagined that the possibilities would have been endless. But that was just for someone that came into a building that people knew me and they respected me and they knew I worked hard, and I was able to get business off of that. So if you were to take all those opportunities that you guys are given every single day, whether it be like a PTA meeting, you know, your kids' softball, something like that, your nails, your lady, I don't have a lady that does my nails, obviously, but you know, someone that does your nails, your hair, tap into all those people that you go to. They would love to help you build your business. Just ask, and that's kind of the hardest part, is asking for help. I suck at it, so some of the people that you can put into your database or sphere of influence. Rockstar agents with up to 80% of referral business all have one thing in common: an easy, workable system for nurturing and growing their SOI. We have an agent here in the office that she does 5 phone calls a day, 5 texts a day, 5 handwritten notes a day, and she does 25 of those each a week. At Friday night, if she does not have those accomplished, she does not go out until those are done. So if she's not doing them every day of the week, then she goes back to make sure that she's actually had those taken care of before she can go out for drinks with her friends or dinner with a loved one. You need an easy, agile system for following up that you can make sure your sphere is always well cultivated and generating new leads for your business. And then a pro tip: commit to having one in-person coffee or lunch date per week with a star member of your SOI. It's not only a great for drumming up referrals and staying on top of mind, it's also awesome for your personal life. I think that's important that we make sure that we have a nice work-life balance. I know Vince always preaches that, but it's true. If you're not having some type of nice, you know, personal life, then there's really no reason to work so hard. I mean, if you can't enjoy it, then why do it? Build your own dreams, or somebody else will hire you to build theirs. That was my life the last 18 years. I was hired to take somebody else's dreams or help them become rich, and now I'm able to do my own. I do work for Vince, but now I've opened up my mind where I can create my own wealth on top of it. So, I mean, I think it's what you take of it and how you handle what you're given. And now I love what I do. I love working with the agents, but I'm also loving the fact that I can build my own wealth, and I'm not going to sit there and rely on somebody else to make me rich. So you guys need to have that same mindset and make sure that you know that you're responsible for your own self and that your own future depends on what you guys are willing to do and how hard you guys are willing to work to get there. So the tech tool of the day, we're going to bring in Tabitha Cooper once a week to kind of teach you the tech tool of the day. We've got some new stuff that we're going to be bringing in this year. And there's a lot of stuff in the lead resource or the resource center that I know the agents aren't using. Side note, if you guys haven't seen the emails yet, Monday and Tuesday next week, Bob Watson and is it Maggie, I think, are coming in for 4 different sessions. They're going to be teaching the resource center 4 different times, from 9 to 12 and from 1 to 4, Monday and Tuesday. The classes are limited to 75 people per class, so if you guys want to sign up, email Brooke. But that will go through everything pretty specifically in our resource center. We have a ton of agents in this office that probably aren't utilizing all the cool things that are there. There's CRM systems, drip systems. I believe there's like marketing platforms that you can come out of there. There's everything in the resource center. So if you haven't gotten into there, try it out, see what we have to offer. If not, come to the class on Monday. And then Tabitha is going to kind of teach you the lead resource agent tools and a brief tutorial on how to send out a quick newsletter.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm Tabitha Cooper. Heather told me to make a story about this, like my husband hit me or something, but actually I was riding on a mountain bike last night and I got whacked by a tree and I had to get a stitch. So, okay, so who has access to the resource center? Everybody's got to log in. If you don't have access to the resource center, let us know immediately so that we can get you set up for resource, because all of the Berkshire Hathaway corporate resources are inside of BHHS resource, and 2 things today that I'm going to show you come from the resource center. So if you have your computers, you can feel free to follow along with us. But if you're familiar with this, by all means, just kind of follow along. Take some notes. If you're not familiar, I've got something going around right now that's basically going to walk you through where to find the newsletter and where to also send out your listings to all agents. A lot of people have that question. But this is your resource center. And every Tuesday through Friday, we actually train on all of the different tools. We kind of break those down so that we're not throwing everything at you at once. But today specifically, we're going to go inside of the marketing resource for newsletters and lead resource for tech tools. So who is familiar with sending out your e-card to all agents? Most of you, half of you, okay. So obviously when you get a new listing, you want to share that with the world, with Berkshire, all agents across Omaha. So you do that from the marketing resource, but also inside of marketing resource is where you can find your newsletters. So with your sphere of influence, obviously you want something dripping to them on a regular basis to let them know that you are still, basically keep you top of mind. So inside of marketing resource, you have every kind of template that you could actually think of. You have templates for door hangers, newsletters, flyers that you could create. E-cards specifically is what we're talking about today because e-cards are electronic and you're going to need, for your sphere of influence, you're going to need their email address. So, I'll do this. You have market yourself and market your listing. If you click inside of either one of those, you're actually going to, I must have hit the bottom one. If you click inside of either one of those, they're going to take you back to the library of templates. So it doesn't really matter. And as soon as you use several templates, they're going to be stored inside of your library. So essentially, you're probably going to end up using 5 to 10 separate templates, and then you'll go to your library every time and kind of use those consistently. Now, there's a search field in the upper left-hand corner, and sometimes the system automatically prompts in a couple of different kind of keywords for you there. Just X those out. If you're finding that in your search results, nothing's coming up. So you can X those out and then start searching for whatever it is that you're looking for. Or on the left-hand side of the page, you can also just look at these drop-downs for type, topic, and that sort of thing. So type, do you want an ad? Do you want a booklet, a brochure, an e-card, flyers? And like I said, today we're going to be talking about the e-cards because that's where the newsletters actually are. They're electronic. So you can click on e-cards specifically, or you can simply click on newsletters, or type newsletters in the field up there. Now, Berkshire Hathaway happens to write a newsletter for us every single month, and it's going to be labeled as such. So this one, there's a printable newsletter as well. And if it's an electronic newsletter, you're actually going to see e-card in the bottom corner. Okay, so this is an e-newsletter. Sorry, it's going to say e-newsletter, not e-card. All the other cards are going to say e-card. Now, obviously, that one's kind of long, so again, you can print these. The great part is that they write articles for you, but you can certainly go in there and take them out if you want to. So we're going to click on this, that card there that said e-newsletter. Every one of these templates are exactly the same when you're coming to your e-card section. You have to click Get Started, and then it walks you through kind of Mickey Mouse that way. Everything is also then going to need a title to move forward. You can call it whatever you want. If you're listing a house, put the house number in there. If you're newsletter for October, put an October newsletter, that sort of thing. So as you can see here, now everything is branded to you because in your resource center, you will have already went in and added your photo, added your contact information. And if you're using these e-cards, you actually already have your contact list inside of there. I know it's kind of a step backwards, but if you're using it, you have a sphere of influence in there, meaning you've already added your contacts or your leads, or we've imported a database inside of there. You can certainly do it one at a time too, that doesn't matter. So again, the newsletter, it's all branded to you. If you want to change out photos, say for instance, you want to change out this top picture here, anything that has a yellow exclamation point or a green is editable to you. So you can actually go in and edit that. And when it gets to the articles of this newsletter, if you don't like this article, you can actually just remove that altogether, or you can change it up. So maybe I don't like this financial advice one. I can actually just take that out and put in something that I want, or add my own story over here. Maybe I do like this first article that they've created for me, but I actually want to have mine first, my story first. So I'm talking about where kids eat free for October, where, safe trick-or-treating, that sort of thing. So I can go in here. They're going to add a place for me to be able to add my own story here. It needs a header, needs a headline, and then the information that I'm going to put in there. And then if I want that to go to the top, I can simply drag and drop using these little symbols here. Does that make sense? Okay, so they create articles for you on a monthly basis. You can change those as necessary, or you can leave what's in there automatically for you. After you've got it to your liking, If you don't want a story in there that you've added or one of those other ones, you can simply uncheck the checkbox there. When you're ready to move forward, you're then going to get some little icons in the upper right corner. So the envelope icon is where you can actually start emailing out the newsletters to your sphere of influence. That little link there is a link where once you create that, it's going to create a PDF link, and you can share that link absolutely anywhere that you want to. All your social medias, you can text that back and forth. And then Facebook is obviously your Facebook link. It's going to connect directly to your Facebook, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn there. So several places to share it as far as getting the word out. Specifically for this one, if we were going to send it out to our sphere of influence or to all agents, we can click on the envelope. Now, if you're sending, we're going to pretend like this isn't a listing for just a moment. If we wanted to send it to all agents, or to our sphere, we can click on Add from Address Book, because we would have already added our folks inside of there. And then when you add people in there, if you're doing like a mass import, you're going to group them, because you might have buyers or sellers or my church group or what have you. So since they're going to be, or if you added them one at a time, they're going to fall here as soon as you click on Add to Group. In the upper right-hand corner, if you've added them as a group, you're going to click on Groups, and then this is where they're going to fall. New agents, MP Dodge, all agents, Southwest Iowa agents. So if you're going to send this out to all agents across Omaha, simply go and click on the Omaha agents list and share it that way. Does that make sense? So again, if you had your sphere of influence already uploaded in here, you will have already categorized them as such, and you can just send them out to your church group, to your baseball group, or if you're sending a separate card, you can send it out to all agents there. Then you simply add the selected, and then it's going to ask you if you want to send this out right now or do you want to schedule it. So if you're creating an open house card for Sunday, maybe I want to schedule it to go out on Saturday. So those are basically your e-cards in your newsletter. Does that make sense? Yes. Nice and slow. Okay, perfect. Let me get out of this one. Now, we're going to go back to our resource center, because that was just the marketing resource. Again, marketing resource is just for that. If you have a property, if you want to market yourself, every kind of template that you could possibly fathom is going to be inside of marketing resource. To continue with like a CRM approach, you're going to go inside of lead resource. Now, we have a couple separate CRMs here. We have, CRM just means customer relationship management. It's a place where I can go and store my folks there so that I can market to them in some manner, however that may be. If I need to print things and mail it to them, or if I need to email them some drip campaigns or, monthly type communication there. So inside of lead resource is basically another CRM. You can go and upload your contacts one at a time, or you can import them, and then you can figure out ways how to start communicating with them and keeping your mind triggered of what needs to happen next. Like, say, for instance, I called Bob last month and I need something that shows me that I need to call Bob again, in 2 weeks from now. Just reminders, basically acting as a virtual assistant. So inside of lead resource, we're going to go under here to marketing, and then to action plan manager. Now, what these are, there's a bunch of them. Let me do. I think we have about 55 of these actually. And these are drip campaigns that go out to your folks. So, say for instance you are in a transaction, and we all know that once we're in transaction, there's a period of about 3 or 4 weeks where we don't have much communication there, especially if it's a slow season. So you want something that makes you look like you're going above and beyond to help to stay in communication with your people, rather than we're just waiting for things to close. So we have all these different campaigns that can go out, including seasonal cards that can drip to your sphere with regard to like all annual occasions, something that's going out consistently to, again, keep you top of mind. But for going back to the scenario of you being in transaction right now with the seller, there's a moving campaign here. And actually, let me go back. With each of these campaigns, you can see on the right-hand side here, it's a little slow. On the right-hand side here, the activities, you'll see 11, 12, there are 11 with the annual occasions, 12. That's how many drips you're actually going to send them out, how many they're going to receive. So if I were to send out those annual occasions starting right now, they're going to hit 11 periods of communication, and you actually get to select the dates in which you want those to go out. So if I'm going to do like the seller moving campaign, I don't want them going out for a year. I'm going to select it to go out probably for the next 6 weeks. If you want to view any of these before you actually get in here and start editing, this little television is kind of like a preview mode, and you can click on the TV to see what it's going to look like before you start sending. So we'll go here. And then, say for instance, day one, getting ready to move. This is reminders for your sellers. Again, letting them know that you're going above and beyond here. Don't forget to change your post office address. Don't forget to inventory your belongings. Obtain your medical and dental records. So something that's just really separating you apart from other agents. The next one that I might have it going out in, say, 3 days. As your move approaches, be sure to keep the following items in mind. Make the appropriate arrangements for your power, phone, water, trash. If you're switching banks, make sure your funds are properly transferred to the new bank. Packing up the house, stock up on packing supplies. Be sure not to load more than 50 pounds worth of belongings. So you get the point. It's just like really great communication of things that they might not be thinking about because they're so flustered with the move. So you find the one that you want. There are 50 in here you can go through. There are buyer prospect campaigns, engaging your buyers. Even if you're recruiting for a team, there are recruiting ones that you can start sending out to other agents in here as well. Certainly things that are going out to your sphere, like the holiday cards, and then specific for buyers and sellers as well. Find the one that you want. When you're ready to do that, there's a plus on the right-hand side. Click that plus button because these are just the templates, and I want to use this template now. I'm going to click on that plus button. Give it a second to appear. And then I can start editing that. So if I decide they pulled in a picture and I didn't really like that picture or how they worded something, you can go in and actually edit that to tweak it, to personalize it. You don't have to touch it at all though. You can send it out exactly as it is. Now, since I've got this all ready to go, I'm deciding that on the New Year card, it's going to go out. It's already pre-scheduled for you, and these will roll over to 2019. So if you go in and set them up for 2019, the dates are going to be appropriate. So the New Year card or the moving, whatever card you've decided, you get a date that's already pre-selected for you, or I can simply go in and change that date altogether to whatever I choose. So today, tomorrow, next week.
Tabitha?
Yes.
So if we have them set up to go out, and is it just meant for the year? Do we have to go back in to reset them up for next year?
Nope. Once you have them in there set up for this, it's actually going to roll over for 2019, and they'll just automatically go. Yep. So again, if I click inside of that activity, I can edit inside of my editor there. I can take out that photo. I can replace it with something that I like or that's more personal, or I don't have to do anything whatsoever. And it is branded back to you, because once you first start in Resource Center, you have to go and like upload your contact information and the photo that you want to use and things like that. Then it's branded to you, and it looks like it's just coming via email. So yep, I like that. It's ready to go out to my people. And then I'm going to scroll to the bottom and then add my people. See if he's going to let me out of here. And then, so I got it all lined up. I've done my edits, or I didn't edit it all. So I'm going to scroll to the bottom now, and here is where I'm going to add my recipients. And you can add one at a time, or you can add as many as you want to at a time. Any that you have in here already are automatically going to appear. So if we went in and added 10 3 weeks ago, or uploaded your spreadsheet, those are going to appear right there. Or you can simply go in and you can add them one at a time as well if you'd like. Oh, she's got those in there already. So let me see here. Nope, I guess you can't do that. So you're going to have to go in and add your contacts first before you actually start sending it out. As soon as you add your contacts, and I'll show you exactly where to go so that you can start playing around with that. As soon as you do that, they're going to appear here, and then I can simply click on whoever I want, or I can, that little checkbox at the very top, if you didn't know this, it's going to highlight and select all that you want it to go out to. And then I'm going to hit save. And then that campaign is then starting to, it will go out on the day that we have, that we've selected of the campaign start date. Now to go in and add recipients previously, just go up, we're in the same place here, we're in lead resource, and then go to contacts and you can add them from here. If you want to import, you need to scroll down to the import where you can import your large database, or simply go to contacts and add 1 or 2 at a time. I would say if you don't want to mess around with that database, at least go and get 10 people in here. You need a first name, a last name, and an email address. So start with 5. Start with your current seller or buyer and put them on a campaign. So that is basically lead resource action plan tools. Any questions? Yes?
Can you import an Excel sheet into there?
Not an Excel, it has to be a CSV. Yeah, so just, if you have an Excel spreadsheet, just change that to a comma-separated value file. The problem is, a lot of times they're very particular about how they have the taglines at the top, so it's going to tell you specifically how it has to be. Sometimes it's first underscore name, last underscore name. If that doesn't make sense to you, let me know, I'll get it imported for you.
So that was a ton of information, but just at least something that you guys can kind of take a look at if you're not using the Lead Resource Center or our marketing resource. Get in there and play with it because it can be really simple. We got a ton of tools there for you that are already ready for you to go. You just have to go in and click a couple buttons. So great foundation. So in order to have a great foundation for real estate, I think truly you need to have a good CRM system or a database. Either one is fine, but you must have one. Update your calendar planner, block out dates for pre-planned or reoccurring events and new activities. We're going to work on that in the next 6 weeks. That we're going to provide you like a 90-day calendar, and I'm going to ask that you time block out your vacation days, at least for right now, so we know which days you're not going to work, and then focus on the days that you are going to be working. Check your local calendar for networking opportunities, Chamber of Commerce groups you belong to, or neighborhood events. That way you can make sure you schedule those events into your calendar to make sure that you guys can go there and do your networking and work on your building your business. Make sure all your social media sites are up and running and that you're promoting yourself on these sites. We're going to give you some pointers for these sites as well. So good things that you can promote on these sites to help enhance you and your business, and different things that might be something you can try that you're not already doing. A follow-up system for the people that you've recently met in an open house or through networking. So a lot of our agents that are doing open houses, which we have some agents in the room that are doing really great at open houses currently. They've got a few different ideas that are outside the box, but some of our newer agents are using an app called, is it Open House Pro or Open Home Pro? So you can go in there and actually write down, or you can change whatever questions that they have to answer on this Open Home Pro app. You have to have an iPad or I think a tablet to use it. And it will register their names, their addresses, their email address, phone numbers, whatever you ask them to input it. And I believe it'll also download it into a database sheet if I'm not mistaken. So you can keep track of the contacts that come through your open house. If you're not good at having people write down something, it's something that can keep you on track. And then always update your database weekly to make sure that you've gotten any new contacts added to your system. So I would time block that as well, and we're going to talk about that this next 6 weeks, is time blocking and making sure that you're using your time wisely. And so time blocking, you can put that in like a portion of your morning, 10, 15 minutes, a half hour of going in and time blocking and making sure that you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So updating your database is going to be one of your keys to your components. So make sure that you're scheduling that into your day as well. So affirmations. I hate these, and I can't believe we're going to do it, but we're going to do it again this year. I was saying mine this morning in the car, and I was like, thank God nobody can hear me, and I was hoping no one next to me was watching me, because I was smiling like a cheesy person like this, because they say that you have to in order to get your mind right. So I was saying my affirmations, and so I'm going to print off affirmations, about 5 a week for you guys as well. You guys can love them, you can hate them, you can find your own. It's just some of the ones that I've really enjoyed, and so I'm going to share them with you. So I'm going to make you all stand up and say affirmations with me today. So if you guys don't mind, please stand up. I know David Matney actually offered to help me with this, but I'm not going to make him do that. He says he likes doing these, and I hate them. So All right, so our first affirmation of the week, we're all going to say it out loud. Oops, you ready? I can let go of old, negative beliefs that have stood in the way of my success. It is impossible for me to fail. I am creating the life of my dreams. I am worthy of making more money. And I have the courage to create positive change in my life. Thank you all for standing up and following with me. I appreciate that. I know those kind of are uncomfortable and awkward, but truly if you start saying them every single morning like I did the last 5 days, I'm like, I am not going to be nervous. I am not going to sweat. I'm not going to wreck my car on the way to the class today. And it all came true. I wasn't sweating profusely and I didn't wreck my car. So we can actually achieve what we set ourselves up into. So right now, and I'll finish up in a little bit too at the end if we have time after Shelli, but you guys all got binders. And so every single week we're going to supply you with some new handouts for your binders. So if you guys don't mind bringing them back every single week. In this week's binders, I'll kind of go through, actually I might take a break on the break. I'm going to go through everything that's in your binders really quick if you guys don't mind, just in case Shelli goes long or the questions and answers go long, because Shelli's one of my favorite speakers, so I'm hoping that you guys love her as much as I do. The first page, I'm hoping we're in the same page. If not, in your binder, you've got Dare to Dream Bigger. So this is a form that I was telling you about that I want you to fill out about your dreams. It's going to talk about today's date because I want you guys to make it real. Something that you guys can go back and look at. Your dream description, the reason for your dream, possible obstacles to achieving your dream, and then I want a commitment date and then an end date. So here at Berkshire Hathaway, Vince has the, almost every year, he makes us all do vision boards. And I'm considering if I'm going to make you guys do that or not, but I think you need to visualize what you want in order to achieve it. And so that's why I want this. So, if you don't know what you're dreaming for, then there's really no reason to keep on getting up every morning and trying to accomplish nothing. So this is why I want you guys to fill your Dare to Dream Bigger. Keep it out on your desk. Keep it somewhere. Make sure you guys can see it every single morning that you guys wake up. That way you know what you guys are aiming for. Who belongs in your sphere of influence? We've got a couple different sheets in here. I've got a Mike Ferry one. I've got the 7, I'm trying to think who this one is. The Ultimate Memory Jogger, Build Your Community by Michael Marr. I've got another list that I've downloaded from the internet, just different people, and then another sheet that I printed out. So if you do not have a database, or if you guys have kind of a half-hearted one, go through here and see who's not in your database that you can find out of this list and start adding to it. That truly is going to be how you're going to become so successful in this business. The affirmations, so if you liked the affirmations for the week, take these out, say them every morning before you come here next week, and then that way, you have kind of a start. I don't know that you have to say 5. I know the Audible that I'm talking or listening to right now, I think he does 10 minutes of affirmations every morning to get his mind right, and he says them out loud. So, I think even if you start with baby steps, start with 5 a day, start with 2 a day, start with something, but keep on doing them every single day. I think it's going to help you achieve what you need to and get you in the right mindset of doing affirmations and start believing what you're saying. Oh, admin tip of the week. So I've asked the girls downstairs just because sometimes there's some confusion. I know coming from a different company and coming here, I had a lot of agents that followed me. And so we had sometimes a little bit of confusion with the admins downstairs too. So I've asked the girls downstairs to put up one admin tip of the week. And so this week's admin tip of the week was Suzanne, and I'm not going to say her name right, is our receptionist in the admin office. We make it a point to have a person available to answer the phone during business hours. If you're not sure who to contact about the status of a price change, commission check, or any other admin-related topics, call Suzanne. She'll do her best to answer any questions or get you to the right person who can. So Suzanne's usually the front point of contact in our admin office, but to be honest with you, if you don't know who to contact and you're new in the building or you just don't know who does what in the building, come find me, come find one of the admins, and everyone here is so graciously willing to help you. It's very nice, but Suzanne is our point of contact for the admin desk. So when you first walk in, she's got long hair. I wish I would have brought a picture of her, but she's super friendly and awesome. So if you need anything, I start with her and she'll kind of work you around. And then homework of the week. So if you don't have a database, I need you to start working on a database. Use a memory jogger to develop a sphere. Who belongs in the sphere of influence? I know most of us have never sent out that newsletter that we have in the marketing resource. I would like you to send it out, whether it just be to one person or if you're going to upload your whole contact list. The one thing I love about our Berkshire Hathaway Resource Center, if you try to upload an Excel database sheet to it, it's really easy and it's pretty simple to do. It's not too technical where it won't take certain databases, where the new one with Berkshire Hathaway's got to be in a specific order. So it's pretty awesome. So if you've got an Excel database, try uploading it and sending it out to at least one person or your whole sphere. And then fill out your dream big form. What are you dreaming of? Because I think that's what we're going to be working for the next couple weeks, is trying to figure out what we are working for, what we're dreaming of, what our goals are, and how we're going to achieve them. So that's kind of what I would like you to do until next week. And then we're going to go through other things in the next 5 weeks that are going to help you also do some more prospecting ideas. But I got to get the ones that don't have the basics down, some basics. And then again, like if you have a database, at least it gives you a couple more options of who you can add to your database if you hadn't really thought about some of these people. So. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to introduce our speaker for this week. This week we have Shelli Klemke that is going to be presenting for us. Every time I see Shelli talk or speak, it motivates me and inspires me. And as much as she does business-wise, which I'm not going to get into if you're going to, but she is freaking amazing. So to accomplish what she accomplishes and to have a kid and actually have a work-life balance is pretty inspiring for me. So I hope that you guys enjoy Shelli today. She's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, who here came over from the CBS merger? Hands? Oh, good. Awesome. Welcome. We're super excited that this is taking place, and I think that you'll find that everybody here at Berkshire Hathaway is excited and welcomes people with open arms and truly is helpful, which is why I've been here for now almost 12 years. So I am excited that I've been with this organization for so long. Who here is in their first year or less? Anyone? Oh, good. And then what about 10 years or longer? Okay, good. We have a good mix. So what I took this class, I don't know, when did it start? 4 or 5 years ago, maybe?
2015 or
3 years ago? Okay, so I took the class the first time when we were still at our old building, and it was awesome just to be able to, if anything, meet more agents and learn face-to-face who we talk to on the phone all the time, but we don't necessarily get to see. So it's nice just to meet some of those people and also learn how, even if you take one thing away each week, it's valuable, right? I was just talking with a couple girls in the hallway, and they're like, we already are going to plan on doing this. And if anything, it's already been worth it. So that's awesome. So congrats for signing up for the class. And I really encourage you to stick with it through the entire program. So I want this next little time together to be interactive. So if you have questions, please raise your hand. The more it's interactive, I feel like the more we all get out of it. So the thing I wanted to address first off is I have been coached by Mike Ferry for my entire time in real estate. So there's a lot of things that you'll hear that if you are familiar with that particular coaching program, you will hear from him. And a lot of the things that if you're like, gosh, I follow this coach or I follow this system, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just the way that I have done things, and it's worked for me. But I by no means do it all the time. I mean, if you hear that someone says, oh, I do this every day, I mean, we're human. I don't do this every single day, but I try to do it as much as I can. And that's what I just want to encourage everybody to just remember, is that this is, an ever-changing market. Every year it's a little bit different, and every year your goals and your return on your goals is going to be different. But if you can stick with the same systems, you can at least be able to predict what will happen next year. And even though the market goes up and down, you really can have a predictable business if you take the time to carve out time, essentially. So my very first year in the business, I had a goal, and my goal was to sell a house a month. And so who in here can successfully say they sell a house a month? Okay, so who in here thinks that would be a really great goal? Okay, so we're all in different places, and it depends on where you're at in your career and where you're at with the rest of your life, and if it's full-time, part-time, etc. But if you have a goal in mind, that is what's going to drive you to be accountable, to have the rest of the other things that come with real estate. So I would really encourage you to be able to say, in the last quarter of this year, I really want to do X. And my philosophy is I don't want to earn $10,000. It's I want to sell 2 homes. So if you can, figure it in, not necessarily on the dollar amount, but on the unit. Again, this is total Mike Ferry training, but you can then be able to predict better what you're going to make next year, because you don't know if next year you're going to have 3 houses that sell for $500,000 or if you're going to have 8 houses that sell for $500,000. Just using a number, but you just don't know. But if you can predict units, you'll have a better idea of how many units does it take to get to this, number of what I want to reach financially. So what I'd like for you guys to do is write down, if you can right now for me, how many units, how many sales, whether they're a listing or a buyer, that you would like to accomplish from today through December 31st. The rest of this year is not always the easiest time of the year either. There's holidays and there's weather, but do you have a number in mind that you would like to try to be able to accomplish? Okay, so now if you can figure roughly, just take an estimate of what your average commission check is. So for some people, maybe your average commission check is, $1,500, and maybe for some of you it's $4,000. But what would your average commission check be? And then if you, add those or multiply those, what ideally would you make the rest of this quarter? Okay, so looking at that number for fourth quarter, if you can take that and look at, okay, what now, based on this quarter, what would that look like for 2019? So is that what you can do the rest of this quarter, something that you think you could do every quarter next year? Is it like, okay, I know usually the second quarter I probably sell more because the weather's nice or something. But how would that look for you if you were to look at 2019? How many houses do you think you could sell? And then multiply that times your average commission amount. Okay, so the first time I ever did this exercise, this is a funny story, and I will totally tell you guys, but I remember I looked down and I circled my answer. I was at a Mike Ferry retreat, and I was very fortunate to work with Deb Sizek for a while, and she was sitting next to me, and I remember I looked down at her number, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't even imagine ever doing that, right? And 12 years later, I'm not doing that number still, but I can see how you can get to doing those numbers, and it's just, I remember circling that number that first year, and it started happening, it started happening. And I would just encourage you guys to keep that number in front of you, keep that number in front of you for the rest of this quarter, put it by your computer, put it on your boards, put it in your car, put it on your mirror at home, put these numbers somewhere, because the more you see these numbers, like they really happen. And one of the things that I brought along, and Heather is going to, I think, put something like this in your
next week's packet. We'll put it in
next week's packet. But I have a few copies of this, and I'm just going to pass these around. If you want it before next week, come and grab one of these and make a copy of it, or just grab it. I think I made like 10 copies. But this is called a 2019 business plan. Okay, so what it is, and this is what I'm currently filling out for my coach. So every week I talk to my business coach, and I am recapping, and I would encourage you to do this too, everything you did in 2018. Okay, so basically what this is trying to do is be able to say, this is what I did, therefore this is what I can predict to do next year. And once you have your year goal, then you can simply break it down by month, you can break it down by quarter, you can break it down by week, and then you can break it down by day. So this here is going to recap everything. So it starts with total income paid, total business expenses, total listings taken, total buyer sales, and then it goes into, let's see, what your production goals are for next year. So your income goal, your closed deals, how many listing appointments do you want to go on? I mean, these are all things that if you can put a number to it, you can then start breaking it down and figuring out, okay, how can I do this week in order to meet my 52-week goal? Goal to work per hour, per week. That's an interesting one, isn't it, guys? Okay, numbers required to achieve these goals. How many listings do I have to do? How many contacts, meaning how many people, do I have to talk to every single hour in order to be able to reach my goal? And I mean, it gets really detailed. Do not let this overwhelm you. If you have no idea, don't fill that category out. The whole thing we're trying to accomplish here is to figure out how can I basically be my best self? How can I be the best real estate agent that I possibly can be? And what this then goes into, the daily schedule. Okay, this literally breaks things down by a half-hour increment. I am not saying that I do this every day. That would be a lie. But I really do try to pick the days I am going to time block and do it, and then I do it. My philosophy always is, if I am here in this office, I am going to work my ass off so I can get back home and be with my kids. So when I'm here, I don't really talk to people, I just do my job. And if I'm not here, it's because I'm doing my job, I'm out on an appointment, I'm with the buyer, or I'm at home with my kids. So this schedule is something that I have worked on for 12 years. It's ever changing, just like it will be for everybody else, but it is something that can really make a difference. So again, this is part of what is in this packet. Also, by the way, this is like free on MikeFerry.com. So if anybody wants any kind of resource, again, he is not the all-be-all. He is just one person to follow, but again, it's worked for me. So MikeFerry.com, if you go under the resources tab, there's like a million things. There's scripts on what do I say to a for sale by owner? What do I say on a listing presentation? So there are just different things that you have access to, and they're free. So if you want to make a copy of this, great, come and grab one. If you want to go to the website, great. Otherwise, it sounds like Heather's also going to put it in packets for next week. But I would really, really encourage you to fill this out and just do the best you can, and then post it everywhere that you can. Okay, so next, it sounds like this is already in your folders. Developing a center of influence. So I made copies, but you don't need them, but they're already there. So some of you have seen this before. Every time you look at it, though, you'll see something different. Something different will pop out. What I would encourage you with this is, whether you've been in the business for a month or whether you've been in the business for 15 years, is make sure you are aware of your center of influence, database, whatever you want to call it, your sphere. People will call it different things. But these are people that will be there to give you business if you ask. Okay? These are people you know. Other agents might know them too, but they're people that you can have access to. So when you are doing phone calls or texts or emails, however it is, you want to have somebody to call, and so, or to text. This is a good starting point. If you've been in the business a while and you already have one of these databases, I would strongly encourage you, especially fourth quarter when maybe things are a little bit slower, to scrub it. Go through it, print it off, and just, if you get to a person's name and you're like, I don't really want to call this person, take them off your list, okay? They're probably not really going to want to call you either. So get the list cleaned up so that when you make your calls in the morning, which I'll talk about in a minute, but when you make your calls, you want to call them. You don't feel like embarrassed about calling them. You're just going to call them, and this is a list to start from. I encourage agents when they start in the business to work on this list and get it to be 100 people. 100 people is an awesome database. And if you're at 50, great. But if you can get to 100, that is a really, really good number. Mike Ferry says that if you have a database, that you should be able to pull 10% every year of your deals. So if you have 100 people in your database, theoretically, that's 10 deals. If you have 500 people in your database, that's 50 deals. So this is a really important tool, especially when markets shift like we're experiencing right now. These are the people that want to hear from you because they think you are the expert, and this is like going to be your ride or die people. Okay, so this is really important to me, and if you want to talk further about Center of Influence and database, come and talk to me about it. So with these people, go into this next form. So this is what I do in order to track my business. I do this electronically. I'm going to pass these out. This is, it's called a daily tracking form. So every single Wednesday at 10:30, I talk to my real estate coach and we go over my numbers. So every single week she sees how many people I talked to, how many listing appointments I went on, how many listings I got, how many hours I spent with buyers, how many houses they did or didn't buy. And we talk about it and we analyze it, and she gives me tools and pointers and things to say. But I want to pass these out here. Okay. And what this talks about here is how many people how do you want to do this? Okay. Here, you guys can do that. How many people you're talking to, how many people of those are leads that you created that day, and then how many total hours you worked, and it breaks it down. So you'll look at that sheet and see that it's pretty analytical. I am not an analytical person at all, but in order to treat this as a true business, you are the boss, and bosses and businesses have to be analytical to a certain extent. If you really want to treat this as a business, you have to have a business mindset to a certain extent, right? So you've got to be able to know your numbers. A president of a company will be able to tell you their numbers. You are the president of your company. Your company is your name. I don't care if you're on a team, you are your own company. So you've got to know your numbers. You have to know how many people are you talking to every day so that you can get a listing appointment this month. I mean, that's really important, because if it takes you 10 people a day to talk to, you know if you really want to hit it hard next month, you've got to talk to 20 people a day or whatever your number is in order to double that goal. So these are things that, again, this is just the way that it has worked for me. I am not perfect at it. I do not do this every day, but I do it a lot, and I try really hard to be diligent about it when I'm here. Okay, so I would encourage you to make copies of this and try it for a month. I mean, try it for a week. Just see if it helps you, and if this is a way that maybe you can say, yeah, you know what, the days I am prospecting, the days I am talking to people, this is a really good system for me. Okay, you'll see on there is a Center of Influence tab. There's a For Sale by Owner tab. There's an Expired tab. You do not have to call these people. If you do not call these people, it's great, because I do, so then it's less people calling them. But no, I don't call these people every day either, okay? I don't want to think that like, oh, Shelly's always calling expireds. No, I am not. But I am going to start calling them more, because guess what? These listings that are all overpriced out there right now, they're going to get off the market, and someone needs to come and list them, and I feel like I can do the job. So, it's like having that confidence of like, okay, you were expired. Why are you expired? It was about price, and you need to clean up your condition. Cool, I can totally do those things for you. So I'm going to use that as a way to get more business. There's definitely lots of ways that you can do it. These are all just different tabs of how. If you are thinking like, gosh, I would like to maybe call expireds, I don't know what to say to those people. you can come and talk to me. I have no problem. You can even come and listen to me make phone calls. Totally cool. You can go on MikeFerry.com. He has an expired script. So again, I'm not saying that that's, the way to do it. That's just one category. So there's lots of different categories. Whatever you're doing though, track it because it really can help. Okay. The goal setting thing. So what's really, I think, amazing to do is when you have your goal for 2019, and you're like, okay, this is really what I want to do next year. Like, I'm super pumped. I want to hit whatever the number is. Tell people about it. So tell your family, tell your spouse, tell your kids. How many of you guys have kids at home right now? Okay. So do I. It's a fun activity. So you tell your kids, like, hey, mommy wants to sell X amount of homes next year. And then we talk about, if I hit this goal, what is something you guys want? Like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What is maybe a toy you want or an activity you want to do with me? Something that would inspire them as well. Because there's going to be a time when Tuesday at 5:30, they're pulling on you, or no matter the age of the kid, I guess, asking you for something, right? And you're going to have to say, I got to go. I got to go to a listing appointment. I got to go show a house. And they don't understand. And it's like hard on little kids too. But if they know, like, hey, mommy's got to go show a house because I got to sell something so that we can go to Legoland. So, they can like start putting those things together in their head, and it makes me feel less guilty. So it's, just a way to get them involved. And it's really interesting because like my boys know right now how many houses I've sold this year. They ask me when I drive to them to school, what number are you at, Mom? And it's crazy. Like they're 9 and 6. I really didn't know that would happen, but they ask me. They also think I make $100 every time I sell a house. And so they think that's really cool. And they're like, did Nintz give you $100 yet? And it's cute, right? So I really like involving them, and I like involving my husband because, again, it makes me feel less guilty when I'm leaving in the evenings, and it just keeps us all on the same page. So we do something called a dream board, and if you don't do a dream board, but you do something, though, where you have, like, this is what I want to do this year with the income I'm making, or it doesn't even have to be income-based. It could be like, I really want to be able to take Tuesdays off every single day, pick my kids up from school, and take them to gymnastics, or whatever it is. But if you have some kind of vision of what your life can look like for 2019, it is a really cool thing when you put it on paper and when it actually happens. And it's an amazing feeling, and I'm sure many of you have experienced that before. But if you haven't, or if you want to do that again, I would encourage you to do that. So dream boards, they can be something you create here in the office with maybe another agent, or maybe it's something you create at home with your family, and it's cutting things out of magazines and having visuals, right? Go get travel magazines, go get National Geographic, go get a Vogue magazine and cut out a purse, whatever. So putting those things up, though, it like keeps you in tune with why you're doing this. Putting pictures up of your family. Why am I doing this, right? Putting up a picture of a bank. You really want to save money. You really want to pay off a debt. Like putting those visuals up there reminds you why you're making these phone calls or sending these emails when you don't really want to be. So along those lines, calling people, sending emails, texting, you can do whatever method works for you. We're definitely in more of a texting, email place in time right now than we have been before. Nothing beats a phone call or a face-to-face conversation. I think we can all agree upon that. But there is something to, also be said about, okay, if I'm not going to pick up the phone, if I'm nervous about it, or if I just know I really want to talk to this person and the best way to get a hold of them is a text, fine. Do whatever you need to do, because if you're not doing anything, then you're not doing anything. A text is better than that, right? So I would encourage you to figure out in your day, usually it's the morning, that you can set aside a time to do that. So if you're like, okay, realistically, I'm not going to get to the office until, for me, after I drop the kids off at school. So I am going to make sure that from 9 to 11:30, like that is my time. That is my whole thing of how I make the rest of my day successful. Recently, I started doing this more from home, and it's been good. So you don't have to come into the office. It just depends on how many distractions you have at home and how many distractions you have here, and how if you're really going to stick to doing it or not. But what I would encourage you to do is say, okay, for this week, just for this week, keep it super simple. I am going to talk to 5 people a day, whatever your number is. I would really encourage you to start with 5. And so if you are not talking to 5 people a day, you are going to have a slow month next month, okay? So 5 people a day, and I keep in contact with agents all over the country. Some people are talking to like 40, 50 people a day. They're cold calling a lot. They're also making like $3 or $4 million. But, it just depends on what your goals are. So I right now I'm trying to talk to 15 people a day. Okay, that gets really hard sometimes. And I can't always do it in the mornings, and so I try to find a time in the afternoon, usually right after lunch when I'll do it. But I just really encourage you guys to set up the time and make a time block and, do 5 phone calls, 5 text messages, and 5 emails. You just did 15 people. It's really not that hard. And if you can be diligent about doing that, you will see your results next month or the month after. You making those calls right now will not give you business right now. It's possible that it will give you a really strong lead and you'll go and list it next week, or you'll go and take that buyer out next week, but you're still not getting that paycheck right now, are you? So what you're doing right now, you will be paid for in the next, we'll call it 30 to 90 days. Mike Ferry refers to it as a 90-day cycle, right? So whatever, if I'm not making money in the month of October, I got to look back 3 months and figure out, what was I not doing? I was probably summertime and with my kids or something, but why, because you can track it back, right? So I would really encourage you again, and I know I keep using that word, but I want you to feel like this is not something that is totally unrealistic. Talking to 5 people a day, go to your database, and if you don't have people to call, come find me and I'll help you find people to call. Trust me, it's possible. Okay, with calling people, with doing all of these things, accountability is a word you hear a lot in real estate. Everybody says they want it, but no one really wants it. If you are accountable, it means you either have to do it or you have to tell people you did it and lie. And so we don't like liars. So if we can be accountable and actually do it, you will have results. So if you see people walk around here and they say, oh yeah, I talked to la 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 la, and they're not doing business, they did not talk to la 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 la, okay? You have to actually talk to people, and then you have to tell a person that you did it. So I am in 2 groups that are real estate agents across the country. I talk to one of them every single Wednesday at 11:30. I talk to another one every single Friday at 10 a.m. I talk to my coach Wednesdays at 10:30. So I have 3 forms of accountability, and none of them are even in this office. I then have the most amazing assistant in the entire world, and I meet with her on Thursday mornings. So she and I have another accountability. There's someone in this office. I then am part of a mastermind group in this building. We meet once a month. There's another form of accountability. So it is like surrounding me, and then I have my kids every day in the car, right? So, but you've got to have people that you can tell what you're doing. If you are not telling people what you're doing in this business, you are not doing anything. You have no boss. You might have a team leader, but your boss is you. As I said, you are president of your company. Do not lie to the president, okay? The president will fire you. You will not have a job if you're lying to the president, right? So you need to have a way that you can hold yourself accountable. These tracking numbers are a great start, but finding somebody else is going to make you excel faster, and it's going to keep you there. So Are you guys talking about accountability in this group?
Well, we're probably going to be doing it, but I know some people are not going to be able to make it to all 6 weeks, so I was debating on if I was going to do accountability partners within this group, or if I'm going to have you find your own accountability partners. So yes, it will be mentioned of, but I haven't.
Okay. So if you guys do one within this group, awesome. If you don't, find another agent, or you can talk to the guy in the back in the white sweatshirt. Okay, so it's something that, if you have to go and you're dreading it, then you're not doing your job. Okay, so write this down. Grant Cardone, Cardone. Who has heard him before? Awesome. The book is called Be Obsessed or Be Average. So I have this in an audio format, and I listen to it in my car a lot. And what's cool about listening to these things in your car or wherever you are is every time you listen to it, you kind of catch a different thing because, you're sort of tuning in and out sometimes. But this is a guy that is amazing, super inspiring, and is full of energy. So I'll listen to him when I'm going to a listing appointment a lot of times just to get myself psyched up. And he is awesome. So I would encourage you guys to get the book or to download his audio and listen to it whenever you get a chance. It's amazing. The other one is Miracle Mornings. Has anybody participated in that activity before? Miracle.
Talking about that a little bit.
Were you? Okay. It's awesome. So that is another great inspiring book that whether you do it now or whether you do it down the line, just to get some of the information in your mind is amazing. It's all about starting your day with gratitude and finding ways to basically spread the gratitude and grow yourself and grow your business. So it's awesome. The last thing I was going to just touch on, and then I'd love to open it up for questions, is just like the gym analogy, right? So if you are going to the gym and you have this goal, you are not going to hit your goal in a week, right? It takes time. And they say it's like 4 weeks or something for you to notice a difference in your body, 8 weeks for maybe the people in the gym to notice your body difference, and 12 weeks for those that are just around you. And so if you apply that to business, it's like, okay, so you have to create muscle memory, right? So if you're going on a listing appointment once every other month, your muscle memory is not going to be as strong when you go on those appointments to remember exactly what to say or to deal with some of those objectives. But if you are practicing your scripts or practicing your knowledge in the marketplace, you are going to have better muscle memory, and people are going to start looking at you from the outside as an expert. And that is what you want to do. Again, you're the president of your own company. You are your name. So if people want to think of you, if you want people to think of you as the expert, you have to work at it. You have to go to the gym. You have to practice your scripts. You have to be in the office. You have to interact. You have to know your numbers. There currently are, I wrote it down, 2,227 homes on the market right now in Douglas and Sarpy County. 2,227 active homes. In the last 30 days, there was 883 that went pending. Okay, so that means right now in Omaha, Sarpy County, 2.5 months supply if no other homes came on the market. If no other homes came on the market, we will sell all of these homes theoretically in 2.5 months, okay? Do your sellers know that that is what they're up against right now? That is not what it was 5 months ago. Absolutely not what it was. This market is totally shifting, and you have to be the expert so that when you have people asking you these questions, you have the answer. So it's important to study what's happening in the marketplace, because how many times are you in a conversation and people are like, how's the market? You're not going to say that that's not that great right now. But you are going to be able to at least inform them of what's going on. And so just having information information is power, and it's something that you have to work at, just like going to the gym. And so I would encourage you to know the market stats. I would encourage you to practice scripts, and I would encourage you to get in front of people or talk to people as much as you can. I am super open about any questions. If you want to ever come to my office, totally open to helping people, and I would love to answer any questions or thoughts right now. Is that okay?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Yes.
Could you just give us an example of if you were trying to set the goal of 15 people to talk to a day, are those 15 people, or text or email, are those 15 people already in your sphere of influence, or they're past clients, or you're calling those people up and you're saying what?
Right.
You're asking them for business, you're small talking, just give me an example of what you're doing.
Right, such a great question. So I'll go in different spurts. So I don't talk to for sale by owners and expireds every day. I'll go in spurts. So, but I will talk to people I know every day. And so when I'm talking to people I know every day, I'll break down, if I'm going to do 10 people I know and 5 people I don't. So that's usually kind of my goal. With the 10 people I know, I count leaving a voice message as a contact because I've already established a relationship with them. I do not count it as a contact if it is a for sale by owner and I leave a message. That is not a contact. I have to have a live conversation with a for sale by owner and expired. Again, this is just the way I track things. When I am talking to somebody I know, there is a script with Mike Ferry again, but basically they usually know I'm calling them for business, but I let them know, hey, it's a quick business call. Are you familiar with what's happening in the market right now? Do you have any questions about the market right now? Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell? I mean, those are the basic questions you have, and depending on how friendly you are with these people, the conversations can last 2 minutes, they can last 10 minutes. A lot of times they know it's me, and they won't answer, and I'll leave them a message, but they're also the people that call or text me, hey, you gotta talk to so-and-so in my office because they're selling their house next month. So my main point is to keep it super short and not be really chit-chatty, and that's just my style. I can get chit-chatty, but I try not to, otherwise I'm not going to talk to all my people. Yes?
What's the best resource for market stats that we use?
Just the MLS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone was telling me yesterday, data tracker. I don't know, but I just go to the MLS. I mean, it's about as accurate from a real estate agent's perspective as possible, so. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How often do you call the same person from your sphere?
Ooh, really good question. So I do quarterly calls. So I do quarterly calls. I also send out quarterly postcards. And I have a couple of other flyers that I'll send out quarterly, depending on if they're on my A list or in my neighborhood. But quarterly is the goal. Yeah. I pay for a system called Vulcan, V-U-L-C-A-N, and it pulls expired phone numbers for you. It's pretty accurate. Sometimes you'll get a brother, a grandpa, a mother, and if you're just asking, just information about the address of XYZ, usually you can then find the person that it's expired.
What CRM do you use?
I use nothing. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I print off, and I also have note cards that I started, 3x5 cards that I started a few years ago, but I need to refresh those. But it's total old school. I don't have anything too fancy, and I don't pay for any kind of tracking system, but so far that's worked.
Just write all your notes right in there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes.
What kind of follow-up do you do with past clients? Since you don't really use a CRM system, do you just have kind of a list of when you want to maybe contact again a past seller, or how do you do that?
So on my board, that's a great question. On my board, I keep a little tic-tac-toe board almost, but there's 100 because my goal is 100. And so every time I close one, I write their last name on it. And so I know who I closed last year because I just have that sheet right there. And what I try really hard to do is, and this is a great way to make people feel good, is I put in there the day they closed and just in my Outlook calendar, and it pops up every year. And so it's just like another way to be like, oh, congratulations, it's your 1-year house anniversary. And it's just another way to kind of touch people. But I do it through really basic, just write it on my board or put it in my Outlook.
From when you started till now, what are the biggest changes you've made to your business to make you more productive?
So I have a coach, and that, again, is my form of accountability, my major form of accountability, and that actually hasn't changed. I've had a coach, thankfully, ever since I was in the business. What's changed is kind of my perspective on my coach. I don't look at my coach as, how do I say it? It is a necessary thing for me. I will never not have a coach. People are like, you've been doing this for 12 years and you still pay to have a coach? Yeah, I do, because they are talking to agents all over the country, and they have a really good perspective on what's happening. And they're also talking to agents all day long, 5 days a week. So they're hearing the same type of things. So I go to my calls every week with a different perspective of, okay, like, what are other people seeing in the country? I need to get this price reduction. What are other people doing and saying that you can help me come up with what to say? And it's really valuable. And if you're not in a coaching program, that's fine. I know Vince has different resources here that you can have coaches or some kind of accountability with people helping you with that kind of stuff here in the building as well.
Perfect. And then one other question I had for you, if you don't mind, is what are the biggest obstacles that you've had to face in this business?
So my kids, just my life in general, I don't have a perfect life. I've had ups and downs, and it's just keeping a perspective on things, and this business can totally suck you in. And so you just have to be able to know when to turn your phone off. You have to be able to know when to say no. You have to know when you're burnt out and you're doing too much, and it is okay. There are people that have been doing this for a long time, and they have gone through a lot of stuff, I would say. Both, this business, it's full of people that are all very expressive. And so it's like a business like no other, right? And so you're dealing with a lot of expressive people all day long, and you have to be able to know like who is healthy for you to be around and who is not. And then you also need to be able to know when to like be with your family. I mean, you're working your tail off for what? Why are you doing this? You're doing it for the people that are at home, a lot of times like waiting for you to get home at night, Gets me emotional sometimes, but I mean, that's why you do it. You do it for those people. And so just keeping those people as your main focus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like someone starting off in business, if you have a full-time job and doing this on the side, so you can eventually replace this full-time.
Totally, yeah.
Have a family, kids at home. How do you work it all out?
Yeah.
How do you have time for your family at night but still build up your real estate business?
Right. You have to learn the skill of efficiency. So efficiency is not something that, it is a skill. It's something you have to work at. And when you come into your quiet place to prospect, because I remember my first couple months, I would stare at the phone. It was still a phone. And I would stare at it and I would wait for it to ring. I was like, please ring. I want to sell a house so bad. Please ring. I know I can do this. But the phone doesn't ring, guys. You have to make the phone ring. So if you have to be efficient, and you have to set aside a time to make people know who you are. And the best way to do that, again, is to have the expertise of what's happening in the market. But you've got to set the time aside. It does not have to be long, and you have got to talk to people. You've got to do it. And even if you do it just for a little bit, that is okay. If you have another job and you need to take your break for your job, and that's when you can go and talk to 3 people, awesome. But if you are not talking to those people, you will not succeed in this business. You will absolutely, it's just the truth. You have to talk to people. And it takes time. You have to have patience. I mean, you've got to do this for like 2 to 3 years before you truly can feel like, I think I know what I'm doing today. So it takes time. Mm-hmm.
Do you have an answer to people who you know, like your friend, and they don't want to mix pleasure and work together?
So the question is, do you have an answer for people who don't want to work, business and pleasure together? Like they might know you as a friend, but they don't want to list their house with you. Yeah, I mean, I would just, again, if you appear to be the expert, it's like, why would you not go to somebody you know and trust and be their expert? You're going to run into that. I would not let that give you a mind stop of not calling people you know. Most people will want to work with people you know. There will be those that don't, and that's fine. Next. You have to be able to say next and get past it. But I would just encourage whoever it is you're talking to, if you know them, that you just want to give them a second opinion. It can't hurt to give them a second opinion. Once you get face-to-face with people, usually you can use, your own skills to encourage them to at least give you a shot.
Any other questions for Shelli? Oops, in the back.
So how do you distinguish yourself between others? Like, for example, I heard somebody say, realtors are like hairdressers. Everybody knows them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how do you make yourself stick out from you amongst other people that you know that are realtors as well? How do you make yourself stand out?
How do you make yourself stand out against all the other real estate agents in town? Because there are a lot of them, and it keeps growing. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next 6 to 12 months because the market is shifting, and if you don't have the confidence and skills, you might need to partner up with somebody and ask them to go on a listing appointment with you. And that's fine to do, guys. People, if anyone were to come and say, hey, will you come on a listing appointment with you? We'll split this deal. Yeah, sure. Why? Yes, absolutely. So look for people that might have some extra experience in dealing with a changing market because the market is changing. How do you stand out, though? I mean, you've got to just be able to really know and believe in yourself. I mean, if you know and believe in yourself and you know exactly what you're going to say when you go in, I mean, that makes a big difference. I do something where I send them stuff before I go out on an appointment. It's called a pre-listing package. It's done over email a lot for me, but it's a way for me to stand out because by the time I get there, they've already seen where their comps are. And please go in with comps, guys. I mean, sometimes I will the agent before me didn't have a comp. I'm like, what? How do you not have a comp? So you've got to know your stats, right? So you got to know the comps. You got to know what's around the market. Go and tour some of these homes that your seller is potentially competing against. Any agent will let you come into their house as long as it's easy to be accessible. They want you to see their house. So go and view other homes, and you'll be able to have a better idea of price in the area. Pricing is going to be so important in the next 6 months. I mean, it is going to be so important. Sellers, I was just telling somebody, sellers are the last to know that this market is changing. So they think that their house is still worth up here, and it is not worth up here anymore. It changed just in the last few months. You got to be able to tell them that and make sure you're on the same page as them. Mm-hmm.
This is kind of an addition to that. It's kind of interesting because the news picks up on the market.
Yeah.
And they run stories, but they're 3 months behind.
Absolutely.
So you're talking to somebody saying, wow, this is a really hot market. Mm-hmm. And it's different than when they actually started to build the story. They just ran it late. So.
Right, yeah. The news is 3 months behind. Yep, they sure are. And so are our sellers, and so are our appraisers sometimes. So it's just, you've got to be the source that tells them what it is today. One really interesting tool I've been using lately is showing sellers how many houses have canceled or expired in the last 30 days. They don't realize how many homes are going off the market or expiring because they're just too high. I mean, it's a simple thing of, if you can't afford to price your home where it should sell right now, then that's fine. This market might not be for you. But the sellers need to know that this is not fantasy land anymore. This is not like, let's see how much we want to get. It's what can we realistically get right now. And you got to say, and just joke with them, as you know, they're always 3 months behind. Here's what's happening right now.
Can I piggyback on that? One of the things I always tell people, I daily get a report internally of how many new pending transactions we have. I look once a month at how many closed transactions we did last year, but I don't really care because closed transactions in the month of September is basically the business that we did in July. It is so old news. I want to know what's going on current activity. How many people are coming through open houses? How many people are coming through showings of houses? How many new pendings do we have? Which tells me what the market's currently doing versus what the market did. To the point is, a news report comes out in the middle of this month. It's talking about information 3 months old that was houses sold back then. And so that's a critical thing is when you look at those numbers come out 15th of every month from the board, I would always look at the new number of pendings over the last 30 days. That's going to be more relevant to me than to close.
Yes, in the back.
I just want to piggyback on that because the other significant number that we talk to people about today is the number of listings versus the number of price reductions. It's already flipped. So your price reductions are outpacing your new listings.
Ooh, I like that. Your price reductions are outpacing your new listings.
All you have to do is look at your email.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously.
Anything else for Shelli today?
Crystal.
Just one quick question. Do you ever turn down clients? And if you do, how do you make that decision? And if you don't, how do you make that decision?
I don't like you. I'm sorry to tell you a little bit.
You can decide.
Yeah. So, funny timing. So, okay, I sold this house a couple weeks ago. They were the buyers. They called me off the sign. They bought my listing. It's pending right now. They need to sell their listing. Oh, you guys, they asked if I would do it at 3%. Like, what? I mean, you're crazy. What are you talking about? They're like, well, what if you do it 3.5? You know, I'm like, no. I will do reduced commissions at times. I will. Vince knows this. People in the room that have worked with me know this. I mean, it happens, right? We're like team players. But, I mean, you have to have value. So I would say that if I turn people down, it's usually because they have a skewed vision on what a true professional real estate agent is worth, and I would consider myself a true professional real estate agent. So that is the primary reason that I would turn people down, is if they want to do a low commission, and I can't do that. It messes with my mind, because then I will maybe do it for the next person, you know, and then all of a sudden you get in this cycle and you're like, this is not what I'm doing. This doesn't work. So that is the primary reason. And I'm very honest with people, like, hey, listen, I use Vince all the time. I'm like, my broker will not let me go to that commission amount, or I need to get an exception with my broker. And, you know, I try not to do that as often, but I'll use Vince as my scapegoat sometimes.
Anything else for Shelli today?
What about overpriced listings?
Yeah, setting expectations. Overpriced listings is the question. I have some of those right now, as does every agent that has a listing. If it's not selling in 21 days, it's overpriced, guys. That's really the matter of it, unless you get to a certain price point, but that is really the way it is. And you have to set that expectation up front. And I have become a lot stronger at this over the last couple of years, because it's super important. But they know right up front when I'm in that appointment with them that, listen, here's the deal. We're going to listen to the market. You're not listening to me. I am simply reporting the data of the market. If the market is not responding to your house, the market is telling you your house is overpriced. So it's not me telling you that. Is the market telling you that? And you know, blame it on the market. That's the truth, right? I mean, I could say this price and they say that price, and maybe it really sells. Well, the market responded. But if the market is not responding, you need to reduce your price. And right now, I'm using like 3 to 10% as, you know, where you need to reduce in order to get a contract or showings.
Okay, we got maybe one.
Just, what do you do? You do any internet marketing? Are you a Zillow person?
So I do a little bit of Zillow. I mean, like a couple $100 a month. And I have some results from Zillow. I do. It works for a couple $100. But I don't do any kind of lead generation. I mean, again, I am fortunate. I worked with Deb Cizik. She is old school. I am a little bit on that old school train where I pick up the phone and talk to people. And then I just am networking a lot. I'm out in social settings a lot. It's kind of my jam, if you will. I like to be out. And so I find ways to not talk about real estate, and then people want to talk about real estate. So, yeah.
Okay, one last question. Yes, sir.
Back to the commission thing. It seems like customers are a lot more commission conscious than they ever have been. And when you look at your database, there are a lot of people in there that are family, friends, and so they kind of want you to, give them a better commission rate. Can you, I know you said you use Vince, can you give us just a quick synopsis of how you counter that?
Yes, and everyone's going to have a different standard, right? But I think Vince holds us all to a certain standard here. For family and friends, remember, there is a difference between, 6 and 5. There is 5.5. There is 5.75. There are ways that you can discount and they feel like they're getting a deal, but you're not giving your commission away completely. So, I have no problem if someone is going to be a repeat customer, they're going to buy and sell with me. I mean, great, let's talk about commission. I always say commission is negotiable. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to negotiate to yet, but I know that if I can just get in front of you, we are going to have a chance to talk about how we can negotiate this and make us all feel comfortable about it. But I just remember there are increments in between, 5 and 6 and 6 and 7 and wherever you are.
All right, we're going past time, so thank you, Shelli. I appreciate you coming in today.
One of the criteria I always have with Jay Brown, it's my fault for not telling you this and the others. We do make you have an accountability partner in this. Even if you're not showing up for a week, we still expect you to talk to that accountability partner. So part of what Shelli said, it is a proven fact. There's no debate about it. He who is coached and he who is held, or she, held accountable will without exception outperform the person that's not.
So
accountability is a critical part. So even if you're going to miss a week, that's not an excuse for you not to have an accountability partner, because you can still have a phone call, as Shelli's doing with her accountability partners during that week. You can set action items and you can hold them accountable through that process.
So I'll put that into next week's plan. I mean, I had kind of gone back and forth, but we'll definitely bring that in. And then that way you guys, I'll let you kind of pick your accountability partners, and then you guys can exchange information and make sure that we're doing that along the process as well. So let me just make sure. Dream big, set goals, and take action. That's what this whole class is about. And then we already talked about the admin tip of the week. And then, dear past, thank you for all your lessons. Dear future, I'm ready. So dream big and achieve it. Thank you, guys.